That was a good one.
There you go. That was a good net.
Thanks for tuning in. You're watching In Deep on the Delta. This is the weekly fishing report for April 2nd. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
I'd like to start off by thanking my beautiful grandchildren, Penelope and Price, for giving me that introduction. Great job, guys, and I guess I'm going to have to take you out for ice cream or something a little later. So with that, let's get into a little river news. I want to give a big shout out to Jim Horton from Real Custom Boat Works. Jim sponsors the Coast Guard vessel inspection and swap meet that we had here at Paradise Point. I think this is the third year that Jim's done that. A real benefit to boaters out here on the Delta. Come out, they got, I think we had 40 boats that came through the vessel inspection. Make sure that everybody's safe, they you know, and in compliance. So, you know, I just got to give Jim a big shout out for sponsoring that. And you know, it was 25 booths at the swap meet. A lot of great people out here. It was a good time. Jim, I hope this turns into an annual thing that we can do every year. So I hope to see you out here next year. I also want to talk about a gentleman that I met at the swap meet. And Ken, I hope I don't mess your last name up too bad, but Ken Bacati. Ken is the president of the Isleton chapter of California Striped Bass Association. Ken wanted me to give a hit or a shout out to the 5th annual Barry Canavero Memorial Striper Derby. So that's what we're going to do first here. We've got the 5th annual Barry Canavero Memorial Striper Derby. That's coming up Saturday, April 4th, 6 to 2 p.m. It's $40 per person. It's a fundraiser for the veterans. If you have any questions, give Ken a call at 415-602-1298. But I also wanted to give a big shout out to the California Striped Bass Association. Stripers are flooding into the system now. Seem to be getting a little bit of a resurgence in the number of striper fishermen out there. If you are not familiar with the California Bass Association, check them out, please. And if you're looking for a good club that you can join for camaraderie, not only with other bass fishermen, but a lot of people that are very conservation minded, and they do the California Bass Association for the last 50 years. My dad was a charter member of the association. For you guys that don't know, I want to give a big shout out in remembrance to Jay Sorensen, who started the club. Jay was a friend of the family. Great guide out here, a great advocate for striper fishermen. So Jay, rest in peace. We're still out here fighting for the stripers. But if you are not associated with the club, the association, check them out. The Isleton chapter has a monthly meeting every second Wednesday of every month out at the VFW Hall in Isleton. Again, you can call Ken and get any information on that. That's 415-602-1298. Think about joining that. You'll meet some good friends out there. You can share some information, and you'll be helping with the environmental side of what has to go on to keep our rivers clean and keep fish in our rivers. So that is the California Striped Bass Association. Let's go over a couple of rumors that I've been hearing, and if you can confirm these, I would like to have somebody show me a picture. There are rumors that there was a 13 and some change pound largemouth bass caught, and a 14 and I think a quarter. 13 and 14 pound largemouth bass. Those are behemoths. I've heard it from a number of people. I'm hoping that those are true, but if you can confirm that, let me know. Because, you know, just knowing that a few of those fish are still out here in the legendary Delta still lives, and just knowing that in the back of your mind, that you can come out here and possibly catch the fish of a lifetime, that's really cool. So a couple of rumors there, and I'm hoping they're true. 13, 14 pound fish coming out of the California Delta. Also, there's a rumor going around, and I think this one could be true, but please, I have not been able to confirm this. If you can confirm this, I've heard that the state has a program where they're going to start harvesting sea lions here in the California Delta. And I could hear a lot of you guys cheering right now through the camera. The first year, supposedly, they're going to harvest 450 animals, sea lions, whatever we want to call them, mammals. And they're not trying to eradicate them, but they're trying to keep them under control. If you can confirm this rumor, please let me know, and I will confirm that in the next report. So, man, wouldn't that be something? Something, you know, I don't hate sea lions, but I kind of hate what they do here in the deltas. So with that, let's give a quick Clear Lake report, and then we'll get into the California Delta. I talked to Dave out at Clear Lake Outdoors. He said the last week or so it has been super inconsistent up at Clear Lake. If the key to catching fish, if you're going up there right now, or one of the keys is try to fish the weekdays. The weekends are getting crowded. There's a lot of tournaments out there. And what Dave is saying, and number one, I want to thank Dave for giving me a honest report, because it's very easy. Dave is the shop owner over there at Clear Lake Outdoors, and it's very easy for him. Hey, fishing's great. Come on up. You know, stop in the shop, so on and so forth. But when it's good, Dave will tell us, and when it's bad or inconsistent, he'll tell us. So it's been inconsistent. Go up on the weekdays, a lot less pressure. The water is super clear, and Dave is saying that, you know, you can go up at the north end, and he's been searching around. On any given day, he can see close to 1,000 bass. Out of those bass, a couple hundred of them will be over 5 pounds. He said he'll see 10 bass a day that are over 10 pounds. Now, they're not easy to catch, but they're there, and it gives you the incentive, again, knowing they're there, and just the possibility of going out there and catching fish is it just gives you that feeling that you want to be out there. Now, the difference between being out there on a weekday and a weekend, much more pressure on the weekends. The bite windows last longer during the weekdays. The fish aren't as pressured. You may have a weekend where you go out there and the bite window may be a 5-minute bite window, where it may be a half an hour, 45 minutes in that same area with the same fish on a weekday. So try to get out there on a weekday. The baits that are working for big fish, you want to use a big bait. For the guys just going up there catching a few fish here and there, throw a fluke, a Cinco, or some type of a robo worm, something like that. You'll catch fish, but it has been pretty inconsistent in the last week. With that, we'll start moving into the Delta. And I also want to give a shout out to my son, Nate. I'll put a picture up there. Nate got a 7.7 up at Maloney's fishing with my buddy Chris. They're reporting that if you have a boat banded for getting on to New Maloney's, fishing is pretty darn consistent, catching a lot of spots, having 30, 40 fish days, and the possibility of starting to get some of those big spawning fish up there. So Nathan, congratulations. I know that's the biggest one you've got in a while, and you've worked hard. You deserve that fish. Chris, thanks for taking them out and putting them on that fish. Let's get right into the California Delta. And we have a special guest on the largemouth bass side. I'm going to have Rob Cloutier on. He's going to give you his idea of what's been going on. But we're going to start off with a little bit of river conditions. It's great out here. I mean, the weather's been nice. We've got generally 3 to 5 feet of visibility out here. The water temperatures are hitting about 70 degrees and everything's a go. We talked about stripers moving into the system last week. They're still coming in. I've heard nothing but good reports of how many fish there are still in the bay, and they're flooding in more and more. They're all over. You can catch fish out on the Sacramento. You can catch fish on the Central Delta, Frank's Track, Old River, Middle River. You can go down south of Tracy. They're pretty much influxed into the entire system. Good classes of fish. Most of the larger fish aren't huge, but they're going that 7-8 pound, and they're just fat, healthy fish. They look like they're fresh from the bay. I haven't caught any fish, any of the large stripers out here lately, but all the pictures that are coming in, they look really healthy, and we've got some of these that we're seeing right now. Fish are healthy and they are on the bite. You can catch fish, bigger fish with glide baits. Last week there was a 30-pound fish reported out of the Frank's Track area on a big glide bait. A lot of guys are trolling. A lot of guys are fishing bait. Your choice. You're going to go out. You're probably going to catch fish. So the stripers are ready to go, and I just want to give one last shout out to one of my subscribers that sent me a nice report, Kelly. He fishes a lot. He's caught several hundred stripers since what Kelly said he was fishing from Thanksgiving. He's got several hundred stripers, along with some big sturgeon. He had biggest sturgeon he's picked up is about 63 inches, estimated at over 100 pounds. But Kelly gave me a good piece of information. What he's doing, he's going out, he's bait fishing, he's basically staying in one place, and he doesn't move a whole lot. But his key piece of information was he quit buying expensive baits. He's not going out buying shad and mudsuckers and shrimp and all that stuff. He's sticking with the good, tried and true anchovy. He's saying it catches everything. That's what he's caught all his stripers on. He's not getting big fish. Fish up to about 8 pounds, but Kelly's catching a ton of fish, and all he's throwing out there is anchovies. So you don't have to go out and spend a lot of money on bait to get out there and catch fish. Get yourself a couple bags of anchovies, see what you can do. Thanks a lot for that report, Kelly. With that, let's talk about what's going on out here for the largemouth bass. We'll start off with a little report from Rob Cloutier from the Bass Hole. So let's turn it over to Rob. He'll give you a quick report, then I'll give you my take on what's going on. So Rob, it's into March, beginning of April. We got pre-spawn, spawn, a few fish in post-spawn, water temperatures right around 70 degrees. What should the folks look for when they come out here in the coming week or so, as far as what the conditions are? What should they be throwing? And 20 pounds is winning, 22 pounds winning most tournaments. So there's some good fish being caught. What should people expect?
As we start to advance more and more into spring here, we're starting to see the temperatures rise. Beautiful days like today, you can see there wasn't much of a breeze out there. We caught a couple on frogs, caught a couple on poppers. That topwater bite's really going to start kicking off. That chatterbait, that crankbait, that reaction bite should start really taking off here. Today we focused on throwing worms a lot. We caught a lot of fish. Didn't really throw reaction, but leading into it, I felt like those fish would have bit had we been throwing some reaction today. But again, coming into it, reaction bite, that topwater bite should be really taking off. You got all 3 phases of spawn coming in. They're coming and going. So you should be able to catch them, as well as bed fishing if you like bed fishing.
Any kind of water they should be looking for? Is it rock, tule, islands, sunken lakes, whatever?
I'd be focusing on either around those flats or anywhere near that, because once those fish get up there and spawn, or they're getting ready to get up there and spawn, they're going to be around those areas, or they're going to pull off and sit on those deeper channels looking for bait to get fattened up after they just spawned.
Okay, that about covers it. I think you can go out there and kind of fish with anything you got, as long as you're good with that and you know what you're doing and you have good water in front of you. You're probably going to catch some fish. Anything you got new and exciting out at the Bass Hole?
Yeah, always. We're always getting new stuff in, weekly, monthly. We just had a big order of Sakamata shads coming in for those guys looking for Sakamata shads, as well as some other depths products coming in. But yeah, we're always having new stuff in. Check us out on the website, or just stop in the store and check us out.
All right, thanks a lot, Rob. Let's get back to the regularly scheduled programming. All All right, I want to thank Rob for giving us that report, and again, support your local bait shops or tackle shops. Rob's out at Bethel Island, the Bass Hole Tackle Shop. I know most of you guys already shop there, but make sure you're supporting your local shops. You know, tournaments, they've been consistently producing, you know, fish in bags in the 20-pound range, and what's more important to me and most of us, the people mid-pack are being more and more consistent, looking at 10 to 12, 14, 15 pounds mid-pack. So the fishing is getting more and more consistent out here. What is missing right now is the bigger fish over, I'll say, 6 pounds. A lot of 4 and 5 pound fish coming in, and I think a lot of those are big males, some of them are females. But what is going on right now is we have probably 10% of the fish are, you know, have spawned and they have started dropping eggs. Started hatching eggs. Rob said for the first time this year has seen a couple balls of fry. So there are a small percent of the fish that have gone through the first phase of spawn. There's probably more and more fish still in pre-spawn, and there are some fish that are actively spawning. And I think what's going to happen is these bigger females start to spawn maybe in the next moon phase, and they start recovering. That's when we're going to see more and more 7, 8, 9 pound fish and maybe some double-digit fish come in. And that's when the winning bags are no longer going to be 20 to 22, 23 pounds. They're going to be 25, 26, 27 pounds. That's what it's going to take. But I don't think that's going to start happening until we're going to be in a kind of a crappy moon phase the next week or so. Then the fishing is going to pick up. As the next full moon phase comes in, that's when we're going to start seeing a lot of the bigger fish. The tournament bags are going to get heavier, and everybody's going to, I think, have a smile on their face. So what's been going on this week? I can tell you that it's more consistent, but it is not easy fishing. A day of fishing on the Delta, the new norm is not you start at 7 o'clock and as you go through the day you catch a couple fish here, a couple fish there, tidal influence or something happens where there's a bite window and you catch a few more fish during that window and you catch fish all day. It's not like that. You're going to go for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes without a bite, and then you're going to find a bite window, and that's going to be very chaotic. Chaos meaning that as soon as you get that first bite, you'll have 15 minutes, maybe a half an hour, where you catch 5, 6, 7, 8 fish, and it'll be a lot of fun. And the situation is, as we get more and more consistent, it's not consistent throughout the day. What is consistent about it is the tougher times when the fish aren't biting, those times get shorter, and the times when we have that more chaos gets longer. So you're going to still have to come out and deal with some very difficult fishing, but it's not going to be as tough as it was in the last couple months. So kind of keep that in mind. I hope I explained it adequately. What I am seeing is a better topwater bite. The evening topwater bite is better than the morning topwater bite. Nate and I went out the other day and we actually had a couple of 5 pound fish in the mix, and we had chances at big fish that were rolling on topwaters and just not taking them. There is a frog bite going on during the day, but the same thing. And what's happening now, I believe, is a lot of people are saying every now and then a frog will come up, or a bass will come up, and it'll just destroy the frog, and that's a catch. But more often than not, the frogs or the bass are coming up, and they're not committing to the frogs. Even when they're hitting them, they're hard to catch, and a lot of times the fish are coming up, and they're just maybe rolling on it, and they're not ingesting the frog. This is common for this time of year, and it's a lot of these big females, and they're in the spawning. Their mind's on other things. They're not there just to feed. They're there to keep things off of their bed, push things away, so on and so forth. Nathan and I really experienced that the other day. 2 of our big bites that we had you could just tell they didn't even take the bait. They just came up and swirled on it, and it was a giant fish, and it was exciting. We didn't catch those fish, but I guarantee you those same fish, when they start picking up these topwaters in about a week or two, they're going to be eating every one of them, and that's when we're going to start getting these frogs and these topwater baits, you know, down deep in their mouth. So with that, the topwater bite is coming on. Chatterbait bite has been better for me, and the punch bite has been better for me, but still the number one situation that I've found is still worms or jigs. What we're seeing right now, it just got done raining out here, so we've had a front come through. Rob and I fished, what was it, Monday, and we had, you know, we caught fish, but they were small fish. Rob had to take off about noontime. We caught plenty of numbers, but they were all small fish. We didn't get any big bites in that morning window. We recorded our video, which I will say the video Rob and I recorded was dealing just fishing Frank's track. So those of you who are out at Russo's, you're fishing the track a lot and you want some information, maybe you're not catching as many fish as you can, I think this video is going to be a great video. Rob has really gave me through the video so much information. I learned so much from Rob just being out with him on that 4 hours that we fished Monday morning, and I think the video is going to be really good for you guys that want to get some more information on fishing Frank's track. Anyhow, we had a tough day, but Rob had the opportunity to come out later in the evening, fish the same areas that we did in the morning. He said he just killed them. So, being at the right place at the right time is super important. We got some rain. We're supposed to get some more rain. That will do nothing but good things for the bite. And hopefully, if it pushes the water up a little bit more, we'll have some higher water at higher tides. And I like that because right now I'm having my best luck at high tide, getting in and fishing real close to cover, especially small Thule Islands, sparse Thule growth offshore. That's where the big spawning fish are either going in and actively spawning or staging up. The Thules that are offshore, that are just sporadic Thules, that's where they're staging. When they get ready to spawn, they're going to move in real shallow and they're going to start spawning. Go out there, be patient, have fun, and do not get discouraged. If you go for 2 hours without a bite, 3 hours without a bite, and you throw your hands up and say, this just isn't going to happen, that's a big mistake, because as you are coming in, you may stop at a few places and you're going to hit one of these places that's on and it'll make your day. So with that, be patient, fish hard, grind it out. Let me know what you guys are doing. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all you guys sending in the reports. And got a little bit of grandchild duty the next couple days, but after that I'm going to be on the river and I expect to have some really good fishing reports for you guys next week. Thanks for watching. See you guys on the water.
Thanks for watching. Happy Easter!